All right, welcome back, guys. We're going to be doing some trivia today, so I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes to join in, and we'll get started. We're gonna get started at 2 o'clock today. We're gonna be doing some trivia games. I made a fun game for us to play. Yeah, just give it another minute or so. Alright, I see a few people here today. Awesome. Alright, this is my first time doing trivia with you guys, so this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure if I can see the comments as they come live, but we'll work through it. Okay, so once again, my name is Justin. I'm a program assistant here at the Long Island Alzheimer's and Dementia Center. Usually you'll find me leading some brain activities in the early stage room, where I'll be doing exercise before lunch. And then of course we got the chorus going on Saturdays. Just a reminder, every day, Monday through Saturday, we have activities coming to you live here on Facebook at 10:30, 12:30, and 2 o'clock, like right now. And you can also find any of our old live streams both on Facebook and on our page at lidementia.org. If you're able to donate, anything helps really, so that we can keep bringing content to you. Otherwise, let's get started. Awesome. So today I decided that we're going to play a different trivia game. I don't really have a name for it, but I'm going to call it Guess Who's Older. So I'm going to show you two different people or objects or things that you may have not realized how long ago they were actually born. Some things are like really older than you thought, and some things are much newer than you thought. So let's see if you guys can take a guess at which object is older. And yeah. Oh, by the way, just so you know, I'm sorry for the music, but some of my videos I've realized they're not being published because of copyrighted music. So if anyone knows any non-copyrighted music, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, my first one I got here. This is one you probably heard of. So everyone knows Miss Betty White over here. But Betty White, is she older or younger than sliced bread? Yeah, you may be thinking, what are you talking about? How can Betty White be older than sliced bread? Or how is sliced bread not older than Betty White? But the difference between the two is only 6 years. Now let me give you a few hints. Betty White is almost 100 years old now, and she has starred in shows such as the Mary Tyler Moore Show and the Golden Girls. Her first TV debut was actually in 1939, but she doesn't actually remember the name of the show, so that's kind of just been lost to history. Meanwhile, sliced bread over here was invented by Otto Frederick Rohwedder. Reader. Don't know how that's going to help you guess, but yeah. Alright, so I'll give any last second for final guesses. And, yep, Grace is right. Betty White is older. Betty White was born on January 17th, 1922, while sliced bread wasn't invented until 1928. I mean, she has a whole 6 years over sliced bread. So you guys kind of get the idea of the game. So I got another one, just to make sure that you guys get the idea. Of course, everyone knows the Long Island Alzheimer's and Dementia Center. I really hope that the text is showing correctly. I printed these backwards so that it would show correctly. If not, please let me know. So, is the Lyad Center older or younger than the app you all are using right now? And that, of course, is Facebook. So, Facebook, just a quick hint, was founded by Mark Zuckerberg, which you may know, who actually invented Facebook while he was studying in college at Harvard. So, let's think about, Mark Zuckerberg and when he was probably in college. So, do you think he is, or Facebook itself rather, is older or younger than the Lyad Center? All right. The answer is actually the Lyad Center. So the Lyad Center was founded in 1988, all the way back over 30 years, while Facebook was only founded in 2004. So that means the Lyad Center is a whole 16 years older than Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg was only 4 years old, I believe, when the Lyad Center was born. That is insane. And I actually just found that out recently. All right. Be sure to keep track of how many you get right. I want to see at the end how many you guys get. All right. Next one. We got the Four Beatles. So the band of the Beatles, or everyone's favorite fast food chain, McDonald's. So, a few hints for you. Of course, you guys know the Four Beatles here. We got John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. If you ask me to tell you who's who in the picture, I have no idea. Somebody please let me know. But just a quick hint is that the Beatles disbanded as a group in 1970. So I'm not going to tell you when they formed, but they disbanded in 1970, if that gives you a hint. As for McDonald's here, on their opening day, hamburgers only sold for 15 cents. And they actually didn't sell chicken nuggets until 1983. So going off that information, what do you think is older, the Beatles or McDonald's? All right, final guesses. And the answer is McDonald's. So yes, McDonald's was born in 1955, 5 years prior to when the Beatles formed in 1960. All right. Next question. I've got something that I'm sure most of you are looking for right now, and that, of course, is either hand sanitizer or Play-Doh. I know both of these are really hard to get right now. Maybe Play-Doh might be a little bit harder. I don't know. But anyways, so Play-Doh was originally sold as a wallpaper cleaner for parents, like to clean off if kids ever drew on their wall or dirt ever got on there. You just put some Play-Doh on the wall and it gets nice and removed. And Play-Doh actually became famous because of Bob Keeshan, who most of you may know as Captain Kangaroo. So, what do you think came first, Play-Doh or hand sanitizer? Well, the answer is actually Play-Doh by a whole 11 years. I think my dog wants to go out. Hold on. Just open that motor out. So, right back at it. So yes, Play-Doh in fact is older by hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer didn't even exist until 1966, which is crazy because you think how much we use hand sanitizer nowadays, but it's a fairly new item. All right. Speaking of hand sanitizer, I know there's another thing that people are really trying to get their hands on right now, and that is toilet paper. So this one might actually blow your mind, because do you think toilet paper is older or younger than Mr. Thomas Jefferson? So just keep in mind, The Declaration of Independence was signed all the way back in 1776, which means Mr. Jefferson, of course, was born before then. So, do you think toilet paper would be older than Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration of Independence, basically older than America itself? Or is it just younger? Well, the reality is toilet paper is younger by over 100 years and was not invented until 1857. That means all of our founding fathers never even knew what toilet paper was. So all of you out there thinking that you can't get enough toilet paper or you don't have toilet paper right now, just think about how lucky you are that toilet paper even exists in our time. All right. How we doing? All right. And next one. I have here a sandwich, or something you may put on a sandwich, that being peanut butter. So, just some quick history. The sandwich was actually invented by the Earl of Sandwich, who was looking for a snack to eat while playing poker so he could eat without utensils. So his chef decided, I'm going to put some meat between two slices of bread, and they invented the sandwich, which of course was named after the Earl of Sandwich. Meanwhile, we got peanut butter over here. Peanut butter, many people think was invented by George Washington Carver, but it actually wasn't invented by him. It was actually patented as a peanut paste by Marcellus Gilmore Edson, while Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, who is the same person behind Kellogg's cereal, patented the creation of peanut butter. So what do you think came first, the sandwich or peanut butter? Well, it is actually the sandwich. The sandwich was invented all the way back in 1762, while peanut butter is relatively younger, only being invented in 1895. So that means most historians, you probably know, don't even know what peanut butter is or was. But speaking of peanut butter and sandwiches, my next one I got for you is the famous peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, do you think the peanut butter jelly sandwich is older or younger than your classic s'mores? Now, everyone knows what s'mores are. It's a nice roasted marshmallow with chocolate, smushed between 2 graham crackers. So, both of these are relatively older, dating back to the early 1900s, but the time between the two is almost 26 years. So, do you think the peanut butter and jelly sandwich is older or a s'more sandwich? All right, final guesses. And the answer is actually the peanut butter and jelly, which was invented all the way back in 1901, while our s'mores here weren't invented until 1927 by a group of Girl Scouts who invented the recipe while camping. All right, awesome. I'll keep moving right along. All right, I got another sweet treat for you guys. I got Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Who doesn't love Ben and Jerry's ice cream? They have so many great flavors. They got milk and cookies, fish food, Cherry Garcia. So do you think Ben and Jerry's ice cream, which is a staple for many of us, is older or younger than Mr. Samuel L. Jackson? Yeah, I had nothing really to compare the two other than one of them was significantly older than the other by about 30 years, actually. So while you're thinking about that, Ben & Jerry's was invented by Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, who actually wanted to open a bagel stand before converting an old gas station into an ice cream stand in Burlington, Vermont. Meanwhile, Mr. Samuel L. Jackson over here actually went to college as a biology major before he switched to architecture and eventually settled on drama and, of course, his long acting career. So between Ben and Jerry's ice cream and Samuel L. Jackson, one of these is 30 years old and the other, and you got it right, it's Samuel L. Jackson, who was born in 1948. He is almost 70 years old. Actually, no, 80 years old. Like 70. Can't do math. He's over 70 years old now. While Ben and Jerry's has only been around since 1978. That means for 30 whole years, Samuel L. Jackson never knew what Ben and Jerry's even was, which is crazy. Alright. Moving right along. I got another actor for you guys. I got Mr. Morgan Freeman. Do you think Morgan Freeman is older or younger than Mount Rushmore itself? Now, of course, Mount Rushmore features a couple historical presidents, including George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, while Morgan Freeman actually started off his career as a dancer at the 1964 World's Fair, which is a hint for you guys. And he didn't appear in a film until he was 34 years old, which is crazy if you think about that. Now, just one more hint for you. The construction of Mount Rushmore actually started all the way back in 1927. So now, Morgan Freeman isn't that old, but do you think they finished it before or after Morgan Freeman was born? Well, actually, it is Morgan Freeman who's older. Morgan Freeman was born in 1937, while the completion of Mount Rushmore wasn't until 1941. So that's something new for you. Morgan Freeman is older than Mount Rushmore itself. That's crazy. All right. Got another actor for you. Everyone knows this guy right here. Mr. Bill Murray. Now, Bill Murray has been in a lot of movies, but do you think him and his illustrious movie career are older or younger than the Barbie doll? Yeah, that's right. I know a lot of you probably had Barbie dolls growing up as kids, so you think Barbie dolls have been around for a while. But of course, Bill Murray has been around for a good while too. Quick fun fact about Bill Murray is he turned down many roles in Hollywood, including roles in Forrest Gump, in Star Wars, Animal House, and even Batman. Bill Murray was almost Batman. So, now that you had time to think, the answer is in fact Bill Murray. Bill Murray was born in 1950, while the Barbie doll actually wasn't invented until 1959. I know you may think of the Barbie doll as like a classic 50s toy, but it really wasn't invented until the end of the decade, when Bill Murray was almost 10 years old. So, like, that's crazy. Oh, man. Alright, I got another toy you guys may remember. You guys know what this is? This, of course, is a Mr. Potato Head doll. Now, fun fact, the original Mr. Potato Head actually didn't come with the potato itself. You had to use a real potato, or, they even used onions or cucumbers, a bunch of different, fruits and vegetables, and you stuck the parts on to make a face. So, do you think Mr. Potato Head is older or younger than Elvis Presley? Yes, Elvis Presley himself. Now, fun fact about Elvis is that he actually is naturally a brunette. He has brown hair, and he only dyes his hair black. And also, another thing about Elvis is his famous song Hound Dog took 31 takes to get right, which is insane. So, do you think Mr. Potato Head is older or younger than Elvis Presley? Well, the answer was, in fact, Elvis Presley, who was born all the way back in 1935, while Mr. Potato Head didn't come to be until 1952, almost 20 years later. That's really some mind-blowing stuff right there. All right. I got one more toy I want to show you that you may know. The Rubik's Cube. So, do you think the Rubik's Cube is older or younger than Starbucks coffee? Now, you be thinking to yourself, Starbucks is like a relatively young thing. It's a coffee chain that's only really been popular in the past 10 or 20 years. But the difference between the Rubik's Cube and Starbucks is only 3 years. Yeah. So while you think about that, just so you know, there are 43 quintillion possible combinations of a Rubik's Cube. While at Starbucks, there's over 87,000 possible drink combinations. Now, you may be thinking that's not true at all, but when you take in consideration all the different add-ins and sizes that you can really combine and make at Starbucks, you get over 87,000 drinks. Something to think about next time you go. So, I see some people got it right. It is Starbucks. Starbucks was invented back in 1971, while the Rubik's Cube was not invented until 1974. That's crazy. All right, let me see what I got here. Let's do this one. All right, this one's all about New York. So everyone knows this building right here, the Empire State Building. But do you think the Empire State Building is older or younger than another New York staple? Of course, being the New York Yankees. So, while you think about that, the Yankees, of course, have the most World Series titles at 27 World Series championship titles. While the fact of the matter is they actually didn't start as the Yankees. They actually started as the Baltimore Orioles. I'm not going to tell you what year, but they were the Baltimore Orioles for 2 years before they moved to New York and became the Yankees. Meanwhile, the Empire State Building only took 1 year and 45 days to build. Just for reference, the new World Trade Center, or the Freedom Tower, took over 8 years to build. So that's crazy. So, if you guessed the New York Yankees, you would be right. The Yankees were born all the way back in 1901, while the Empire State Building did not rise until 1930, almost 30 years later. That's something to think about. All right. Another sports one I got for you. The Super Bowl itself. Yes. The famous Super Bowl championship game between the AFC and NFC champions is the Super Bowl. The very first Super Bowl. Did it happen before or after the Apollo 11 moon landing? Yes. So, while you think about that, the first Super Bowl was held between the American Football League at the time champion Kansas City Chiefs versus the NFL champions Green Bay Packers, where the Packers won the first ever Super Bowl. While the moon landing, of course, featured Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, who actually didn't step on the moon. But that was watched by over 600 million people around the world. So, if you guessed the Super Bowl, you would be correct. That's right. We had our first Super Bowl championship before the moon landing, with the Super Bowl first occurring in 1967, while the moon landing wasn't until 1969, 2 years later. It's insane. All right, how are we doing on time? Let me find a few more. Oh, this is an interesting one. So this is one you probably have not seen in a while. That, of course, being plastic bags. Yes, the infamous plastic bags, which are now illegal in New York. Do you think plastic bags are older or younger than roller skates? Now, you may be thinking, roller skates, they were a big thing in the 80s. And plastic bags, I've been using plastic bags forever. But the difference between these two objects is over 230 years. That's crazy. So a fun fact about roller skates is that the inventor of the roller skates actually wanted to debut them at a ballroom party, but he didn't have control over them and crashed into this full floor-length mirror. So, that wasn't a great start to roller skates. Now, if you guessed roller skates, you are right, because roller skates were invented all the way back in 1735. Yeah, that means roller skates are older than the United States itself. While the plastic bag was not invented until 1965. Just a mere 55 years ago. It's crazy because, until recently, plastic bags were everywhere. And you think they were been around forever. But they are very relatively new item. Something to think about. Alright. What about this one? This is a crazy comparison. I've got a root beer float, which, if you don't know, is basically a glass of root beer with ice cream. Now, do you think the root beer float was invented before or after the film premiere of The Wizard of Oz? So, The Wizard of Oz, of course, we all know The Wizard of Oz. That's a relatively old film. I'll give you a hint. That one came out in 1939. So that's a fairly good while ago. And a fun fact about The Wizard of Oz is Dorothy's ruby red slippers were actually originally silver, but they wanted to show off their new Technicolor technology, and therefore they turned it red. So thinking about, 1939 and The Wizard of Oz versus a root beer float that you may have enjoyed at a soda pop in the 1950s, the fact of the matter is the root beer float is actually much older, invented all the way back in 1893 by Robert McKay Green, who ran out of ice to put in his sodas, so he needed something cold, and he went with ice cream. The more you know. Alright, I'm just going to do a few more to close out our day. How about we do this one? A famous Long Island celebrity we all know and love, Mr. Billy Joel. Now, do you think Billy Joel is older or younger than something else you all know and love, that being Doritos? Yes, Doritos. One of these things came almost 20 years before the other. Fun fact about Billy Joel is he actually didn't graduate high school until he was 43 years old. He actually went right over to Hicksville High School, not far from the Lyad Center, but he left high school before finishing, so he went back and wrote some essays so that he could get his diploma. Now, if you're doing the math, you will realize Billy Joel was actually born all the way back in 1949, while Doritos were only invented in 1968, almost 20 years later. So yes, Billy Joel is, in fact, older than the Dorito. Okay, let's do a few more. How about a couple TV shows for you? Do you think Sesame Street aired before or after than Family Feud? Yes, a couple great shows that you will see. They're still on TV today, and these TV shows do go back a good while. So Family Feud actually was a spin-off to another game show called The Match Game, which premiered back in 1962. So 1962, that's your hint. While over here, Sesame Street, we've got a couple old friends. If anyone's familiar with the Count, the vampire who likes to count, he's actually millions of years old, with his official birthday being October 9th 1,830,653 BC. So taking all of that into consideration, of course Sesame Street is an older show, not by much though, with Sesame Street being born in 1969, while the first episode of Family Feud aired in 1976. Okay. Why don't we do this one? Everyone knows this great TV show. If you don't know what I'm talking about I Love Lucy, who starred Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. Now, do you think I Love Lucy aired before or after the invention of color TV itself? Now, you may be thinking, color TV, you know, that's been around forever, but so has I Love Lucy, both things we have today. So, a fun fact about I Love Lucy is that I Love Lucy started as a radio show called My Favorite Husband, but only agreed to convert it to a TV show only if the studio people would allow her husband, Desi Arnaz, to be her husband, which they were very wary about because he was a Latino, and this was back in an earlier time, which I'm not going to give away to you. But the fact of the matter is, color TV actually came first. Even though I Love Lucy, everyone has watched that show in black and white, the color TV was 1 year older, debuting in 1950, while I Love Lucy did not air until 1951. Crazy stuff out there. All right, let me do two more. I've got Campbell's Soup. You know, everyone knows Campbell's Soup. It's a great staple. Do you think Campbell's Soup is older or younger than Twinkies? Everyone knows Twinkies. These great yellow cakes with a cream filling. Now, one of these items came before the other by over 30 years. Campbell's actually started out as a can company all the way back in 1869. So that's a hint for you. So in 1869, they were canning fruits and vegetables and condiments, but eventually they turned to soup, with the original soup can only selling for a dime, selling 500,000 cans a year, while only 20 years after that, they were selling over 18 million cans a week. Big difference. And meanwhile, my friend the Twinkie here is celebrating its birthday tomorrow, and this is true, tomorrow is National Hostess Twinkie Day. So, the fact is, Campbell's Soup came about all the way back in 1900, while the Twinkie did not make its debut until 1930, over 30 years later. Alright guys, I'm going to end it off with one more for you. This is probably the craziest one. Do you think the chocolate chip cookie is older or younger than Queen Elizabeth II? Now you may be thinking, you know, based on how I've been doing this, I'm trying to trick you guys. I want you to really think, do you think the Queen of England, who has been the Queen for over 68 years, and her son Prince Charles is 71 years old, do you really think she is older than the chocolate chip cookie, which was actually invented by accident when baker Ruth Wakefield was hoping to just make chocolate cookies by mixing in chocolate chunks, but the chunks didn't melt and she ended up with chocolate chip cookies, which is a great surprise. But you guys guessed it, Queen Elizabeth II is actually 11 years older, born on April 21st, 1926, while chocolate chip cookies were not invented until 1937. That means Queen Elizabeth and Betty White and so many others had to live in a world without chocolate chip cookies, which I really cannot believe. Alright guys, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys learned something today. Let me know in the comments which item surprised you the most. Just a reminder, we have entertainment live here on Facebook Live Mondays through Saturdays at 10:30, 12:30, and 2 o'clock. You can also find all our old videos both on our Facebook page or on the Liad's website, lidimension.org. If you guys can donate anything, that would be a great help. Stay safe out there, guys, and I will see you soon. Have a nice day.